Welcome to howtopam, professional computing with free open source software. Today I want to discuss a very useful terminal tool in the Linux operating system, the DD. The DD command. Now DD stands for data duplication, and it's very useful for a number of things, but one of the most useful things that you can do with the DD is you can make your own live USB sticks. Whatever type of USB stick or drive you have, or an SD card or whatever, you can manage it entirely through the terminal window with the DD command without any other added software, installed software. So what we can do here is show you how that DD command actually works by burning or creating a live USB stick image. To do that, what we'll have to do is we'll have to actually bring up a terminal window. Now, most Linux operating systems have the DD application installed. So we're going to take a 8 gig USB stick and insert it in one of the USB ports on this particular machine. Now the first thing to do, there you go, you see, okay, so our machine recognized the USB, and let's just check here and see if it's actually listed by running a command to check the blocked devices. Okay, let's run a command to check the blocked devices. So let's open up our terminal here, and let's run a command, list block devices, and let's see. Okay, so here is our hard drive, one hard drive at 75 gigs. Here's another hard drive at 233 gigs. Here is our optical drive, and here is our 7.7 or 8 gig USB stick. So that will be the actual device name is SDD. So we want to make sure that USB stick is formatted into a FAT32 file format for making a live USB drive. So we're going to format it just to make certain it's right and make sure there's no other material or information or data on it. But before we work on that drive, we're going to have to unmount it. So we want to make sure that the drive is not mounted, that it is unmounted. And one way to be certain about that is just to enter our administrative privileges pseudo term and unmount, or umount, no N, just umount, and that would be block device SDD. And let's use the asterisk for all the partitions on that drive. Okay, and so that tells it sudo unmount device SDD. Make sure all petitions. Let's enter that. Once password. Okay, it tells us that device SDD is not mounted. Therefore, we can go ahead and format that. But again, we'll have to have administrative privileges. So let's go to sudo and let's tell it to make a file system .vfat, which will be FAT32 /I option. You should use that by default because sometimes it will refuse to format if we don't use the I option. And let's tell it to format device SDD. Okay, we don't need a partition number there, just the device SDD. And let's enter that. And there it goes. It's going to format that. Okay, now we have a nice clean USB stick. The next thing we're going to have to do now, we know it's unmounted, is we're going to have to find our file that we want to transfer. Now, we know that we have a file in here in our downloads that we downloaded. Here is one right here. Rosa Fresh with the Mate desktop. So we could use the dd command to burn this Rosa Fresh Mate desktop R8 to our USB stick. Now, one of the better ways to do that, to find that name, is just to actually list those. List the downloads folder. List the downloads folder, and there it is there. Okay, that's the contents of the folder. We want to use this one here. Okay. So we're going to go and use the dd command and use the input file equals we're going to have to put the absolute address to that file. So that file will be actually at home Pamela downloads. Okay, so that's home Pamela downloads. And then we need this particular file. Okay, right there. So let's copy that and let's put that there. That is the absolute address from the root of the system. It's from the root of our drive. It's home, and then your username, and then the downloads folder, and then the file. Okay, and we're going to have an output file which equals our drive. Okay, so our drive was device SDD. Okay, and again, we don't need to put a partition there. When it is burning the image to the device, it will create its own partition. So let's just run with that. And again, we have data duplication from the input file of this image, which is from the root of our drive into, if we looked at that, here's the root. We went from the root of our drive, we went to home, went to Pamela, went to downloads, and got that file. Okay, so that's the same address. It's an absolute address from the root and that file, and then onto our unmounted device USB stick. Okay, so let's run that. Again, we need administrative privileges. Sorry about that. So let's just up the arrow key, put it back, and I'll use the left arrow key to go back. And let's go sudo privileges, right? Enter again. And there you are. Now that file is quite large, 1.4 gigabytes. So it's going to take some time to burn, and we don't have a progress meter here with the DD command. But there is a little trick that we can use to get the progress of that, to monitor the progress. But to do that, we'll need to open one more terminal window. Okay, so we want to get the process ID here, and to do that, we need to run pgrep /L to list, and we're going to list, you can use single quotes, caret, DD, user, which is the $, single quote, and see what we get. There you go. We have the DD command 21223. That's the process ID number. So now let's open one more terminal window. And let's write sudo kill Unix system resources number 1. Oh, we better put a dash. Unix system resources number 1 and the process ID 21223. And let's move this window over here so we can see. And let's enter this here by pushing the enter. Once a M866 password. And there you go. We see here it gives us what we have. Okay, so it tells us what's going on in this window as the DD command is transferring data from the downloads folder, the ISO, out to the USB stick. And here we are. We're running at 3.9 megabytes per second. And that is how we process that. Now we had to use a couple of different windows. One to get the process ID. Okay. And another to run the kill command. Okay. And leaving this window that is transferring the DD image to the drive unaffected. And then the information will be printed out in this, and we can see where we are even though we don't have a meter bar. As you can see, this process is quite quick. We have here a 1.4 gig image that's almost completed in a matter of moments. The whole thing will probably take no more than 15 minutes. Again, if we wish to check the progress of this window one more time, we can go back to this window, use the up arrow key to get the command there again, and enter it again. Okay, so you can see there that the image is completed now. And it really didn't take that long at all. So there you go, the DD command for burning images or creating a live USB. Now we can go ahead and reboot our system, and that live USB stick should work for us there. Okay, so that is how the DD command can be used to create live USB media. It is fairly easy to use once you've tried it a few times in the terminal, and it is fast, and it saves trying to find other programs that work on some and don't work on other operating systems. So once again, thank you for watching this DD command tutorial on howtopam.